Hey guys, we're going to be doing a little bit of a response video to a buddy of mine, Kyungmin Lee TV, but he's Kyungmin on Twitter, on an X. We're going to be doing a response video to him getting fired for his conservative beliefs. This is absolutely ridiculous, and if you guys want, please support him. He has a GoFundMe linked below right here. He's going to be talking a little bit about what happened to him. I just want to preface this by saying Kyungmin is a great guy, really kind, really down to earth, and he has got a lot of talent. And I think he's going to go really far if he puts his mind to whatever task he's going to do in the future here. So,
Kongmin Lee, and I was just fired from my job for my conservative beliefs. This wasn't about my job.
We're going to speed this up just a tad bit. Let's see here, because we don't want to take too long here.
Job performance or my relationships with colleagues. It happened because of the things I've said online and the political and religious views I've shared. Right before I was about to head out to work, I got a call from an executive at my workplace, and he opened with this.
The reason for this call is that we've decided to terminate your contract effective immediately.
Oh.
Beginning today and going forward, you're going to cease all contact with employees, and you are not welcome on our campus.
Okay, so the first thing is that it should be noted, and Kyungmin probably knows this, they can't stop him from contacting employees. Like, legally, they cannot do that. They can't tell him, you need to cut off the relationships of all your coworkers. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous standard, and no one can actually do that. They can't force somebody to not do that. That's asinine. Also, I think most employees have a right to clear their desk. Like, they have every right to go and clear their desk out, make sure they grab any of their personal belongings and things like that. So saying you're not allowed on campus is completely ridiculous, unless they were going to give him the means to do that. Now, of course, there may be parts of the conversation that he didn't share due to privacy reasons, and maybe because he doesn't want to dox the workplace for legal issues and things like that. But it should be noted that that is something that is absolutely not allowed. If that happens to you, make sure you immediately talk to a lawyer, even if it's just a free consultation, just to see if that is something that is not allowed or is allowed.
So they told me I was being removed immediately and not to return. The main reason? Because my posts were dehumanizing and derogatory.
It's clear to us that your commentary invokes language that's derogatory and dehumanizing.
The specific example they kept bringing up is when I called women who celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk hags and psychopaths. And apparently, that's unacceptable. What else are they? Calling them psychopaths is mild compared to the depraved gloating over the death of an innocent man. But
absolutely, and he actually brings up a really good point, and it's a really powerful point, is that it's time for conservatives to stop being cowed by these people. We are not in the wrong for calling this behavior exactly what it is, which is evil, depraved, vile rhetoric that shouldn't be tolerated in polite society, and we have every right to cancel those people. We, however, should be absolutely abhorred that us calling that out results in a firing. Kyungmin did not deserve to get fired if that's the only reason that he was, which it seems to be the case.
they didn't care about the context. So what specifically?
Well, how about yesterday when you implied that women shouldn't have the right to vote and that women are hags, miserable people, birthers, and psychopaths?
I didn't call women that.
Yes, you did. It's very clear. We have evidence of it.
Yeah, you can pull it up. I said that liberal women who dehumanize people and celebrate that.
You did not say liberal women. You did not say liberal women.
The context is...
You didn't say liberal women. You didn't say liberal women. And Kyungmin's going to mention about context to guarantee it.
There's no context. Your language.
Do you mind if I can...
I'm going to finish. Your language is dehumanizing.
Notice the fox like masculinity. I'm gonna finish. You're calling to fire somebody. They have a right to respond to insane accusations that you're making against them, because you're actually, by doing this, you're actually slandering his name in a way. He has every right to respond.
You target every kind of identity that's represented. I'm embarrassed that we're just realizing it.
So the context behind that is the thousands upon thousands of videos and tweets and posts of people who were celebrating the assassination of a husband and a father 2 weeks ago. So the context is the sheer number. It was like 80 to 20, 90 to 10. The majority of people celebrating his assassination, someone murdered in cold blood, were women. Now, these are women who are untethered to their family. They don't have good family lives, right? They have abandoned their families, and they don't have children.
So you don't know.
So now generalities can't be generalities because you don't know that. You don't know for sure every specific case. No, we're allowed to speak in generalities, just like those people that call all right wingers not Nazis and fascists. Now I wonder how many of their employees have made veiled, subtle jabs at right wingers and subtly assuming or claiming that they are Nazis or fascists or some other ridiculous label, right? How many of them have done that? Of course, they will never admit that.
Know that. You don't know that.
Okay,
And
sir, 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 sir. So this is, sir.
suggest that the answer is to
Am
read
I
the
allowed
Eighth
to?
Amendment
Am
so
I
that
allowed to
all
finish,
women
or are you
don't
going to keep
vote?
white splaining to me?
We can be done with the conversation. You are no longer permitted on this campus. You are effectively terminated immediately from your employment.
I asked for another example.
I do like how Kyungmin was like, "Oh, you're gonna keep on white splaining," and it's a jab at this guy's clearly a liberal who didn't like what Kyungmin had to say, and that's they had no real true excuse. Um, there was no example that they gave that would warrant this. People are allowed to have private opinions. If he wasn't representing his brand online, the brand of the company and the campus or wherever he was working from, there's no reason to let him go. There's no reason to fire him. There's no reason to even acknowledge it. And that is that, right? Now, if he was like the CEO or a major representative of the company, that'd be a different story. But Kyungmin is clearly not because he's never even mentioned where he's worked, right?
And he accused me of saying that fat people shouldn't exist. What?
You clearly believe that fat people shouldn't exist.
What?
Correct?
I have never
Correct.
said that. I've never said
Correct.
that fat people should never exist. This is your emotion speaking. If you were
It's
able
not.
to at least use
We,
your
we have
faculties
a
of reasoning.
file. We have a file full of odious things you've said.
Odious, like what else? What else?
Any one of which would be eligible. We would escort them out of the building. My only
These people are such hypocrites. They would not escort any of the women in there, and I guarantee you, some women in their HR department or wherever they are have said, "Oh, completely abhorrent things about conservatives." Guaranteed, because this guy is pearl clutching over two completely non issues.
only regret is that we've just discovered this at this point, and that's on this institution.
Okay, so I don't understand what beliefs that I hold, because I don't dehumanize women. I have talked many times on my platform about how women are incredible, that their telos, which means design in Greek, is to birth life, and that's a very important role in civilization. I've said that multiple times. I said they're empathetic, they're compassionate, they're great nurturers and caregivers. That's what I've said. I've also said that men need to step up. I've never said that men are better than women or women are better than men. I've never said that fat people should never exist. That's absurd. All I've said is that they should take care of their bodies and that they should steward the bodies that God has given them, right? So
I'm not interested. I'm not interested in this debate.
And you see, no matter how much I tried to reason, this is how liberals
Yeah, in Kyungmin probably knew that there was nothing he was going to get out of this, and he was clearly trying to get a couple words in so that he could at least make a case to the public that this is exactly what happens with these people. They're not interested. If he had just accepted meekly the firing without giving any pushback, they could have spun the narrative any way that they could. And because he got them to admit exactly what were the supposed odious quote unquote tweets or the odious statements. He now has an ability to defend himself, saying these statements are clearly intentionally taken out of context for the excuse of firing me because of my political beliefs. Very smart of Kelman to do that. I think he knew inside that there was nothing that he was going to do to convince them of such a thing.
think. They don't value diversity of thought or the free marketplace of ideas. They will fire you, destroy your life, and in extreme cases like we saw with Charlie Kirk, kill you and dance on your grave if you dare hold any right-wing opinions. To be an open conservative today in America still means to be a social pariah. Companies and institutions will punish you without question. But I believe in speaking honestly about my values. I try to be
totally true. America, unfortunately, the American system is built on sort of this tribalistic politicization, and it's a tragedy that that's the case. But there's only so much we can do. We really need to do better as a society and as a conservative movement. The right wing needs to rally around each other. We had Carmelo Anthony stabbed a guy to death and raised $500,000, and he got a public defender, right? They did fundraisers for numerous people that have murdered people. They have done fundraisers for liberals who have danced on the grave of Charlie Kirk, and they've done fundraisers to try and give them money because they were fired for those literally praising the assassination of a political figure, right? These people are ridiculous. And so it's time that conservatives start rallying around each other and really start supporting each other financially in a lot of ways too. Like we need to start being like, no, no more. We're not going to let people get canceled. I think we saw a turn of this with I can't remember her name, Shyla in Minnesota, where she allegedly called a child the N word, and people are just like, you know what, we don't know what happened, but it's kind of irrelevant because you don't try and destroy somebody's lives um, over an out of context video or things like that. Like cancel culture needs to die, and in order for cancel culture to die, conservatives need to rally around each other. Conservative companies and organizations need to rally around each other. No more hiring liberals. No more hiring liberals. You need to hire people that have similar values as yourself, and we need to start competing with these companies.
Be respectful while also being direct. Of course, I tend to be sarcastic and incorporate humor in my posts, but apparently that's become grounds for dismissal. I don't think being conservative or having strong religious Christian convictions should cost someone their livelihood. It is
So completely true, by the way. Everything he said, Cummins said about overweight people, women and their telos, and things like that, is a totally basic Christian belief that's been believed by Christians for thousands of years. So if we're being fired for basic Christian beliefs, even if it's sprinkled with some humor and some jabbiness, that's irrelevant. He should not be getting fired for that. It's ridiculous.
It is possible for someone to hold beliefs that you disagree with and that person not be a crazy, hateful person. I just wish that they at least tried to have a conversation with me before viewing me and firing me as a derogatory, dehumanizing bigot. They don't even know what it is that I believe, but as you can see, they chose to take things out of context to create a fake version of me. Because having a conversation and trying to reach a place of understanding is hard, and it's easy, instead, to dismiss and fire someone who disagrees with you as a racist, xenophobic, misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic, everyphobic monster. They chose to treat me like some violent terrorist that's not allowed on their property or to contact any of their employees anymore. They are more angry with me calling out garbage behavior than the garbage behavior itself. They are more angry at me calling people celebrating Charlie's assassination hags and psychopaths than they were at the very demons who celebrated Charlie's assassination.
It should be noted, and this is something that needs to be like people need to know. Kyung-min Lee just got done doing a very, very well received and very good, in my opinion, it was a phenomenal speech in South Korea at Build Up Korea 2025. Everything he said in that speech was basically basic Christian beliefs that he has espoused on his Twitter. So would they fire Kyung-min for his commentary at a major event like that? Of course they would. They would, but it would look bad. And so what they do is they try and find, well, your tweets are odious, so we're going to fire you. Basic Christian beliefs are not allowed in polite society from their point of view. Basic Christian beliefs should be banned, mocked, and derided. And there's no punishment for people that do that. But God forbid you adhere to some basic Christian principles. Shame on these people. And Kyung-min deserves all the support in the world. His speech at Build Up Korea 2025 was phenomenal. And he is very talented, and he's going to go places.
So what now? Well, I know some of you have noticed that I've been absent from making videos and content for almost 2 years now, and that's true, and I sincerely apologize for my absence. I would post on X in my free time from time to time, but I wanted to live a more normal life for a while off the internet. I was struggling financially, and I tried to make money in other ways by working other jobs. I also spent time in counseling, trying to get right with God, because I realized I had been living a life of sin as a hypocrite while publicly espousing Christian conservative values. I even tried pivoting into other career paths to see if that's where God was leading me, but it seems God had other plans. I believe God is using this to push me into what I was already being prepared for: full-time content creation and public speaking. Sharing truth, building a community that isn't afraid to stand firm. If you remember 4 years ago, this is actually the second time I've been fired from my job for my social media posts. God really is nudging me. I can't compromise my voice just to keep a paycheck and live comfortably any longer. I'm going to focus on building a platform where I can speak openly, create content that matters, and continue the sort of work that I love, fighting for what is good, right, and true. I will also be focusing not only on American contemporary politics and culture, but also bridging the gap on what is going on in Korea. But here's the reality. Losing my job means I lost a lot of my income overnight, and while I transition into this new chapter, I do need help covering basic expenses, rent, bills, food, until my content work is sustainable on its own. That's why I've launched a Give, Send, Go campaign. If you believe in free speech, if you want to help me continue creating, or if you just want to help support me during this transition, I'd be incredibly grateful. Even if it's just a few dollars, that would mean the world to me. And whether you donate or not, thank you so much for listening and sharing. God closed one door, and now he's opening another. I may have been fired, but I'm not backing down. I'm moving forward. Thank you for standing with me, and God bless.
Fantastic video. Great way to end it off. And I just want to reiterate that please go and support him. Conservatives need to rally around each other. We have to be done with the cancel culture. And frankly, it's not going to take a lot. It doesn't take a lot of money to sustain someone long enough for them to get kind of their feet underneath them. I know this myself. I've asked for help in the past, and I've had ways in which that's happened, and I think it's very important moving forward that we do this. So I really appreciate everyone listening in. Please go and look at his video. Subscribe to him. Subscriptions help boost the algorithm. Go like the video. Um, and just share it on social media, X in particular. Tag any people that you know that are popular people on Twitter. Flood the zone with this stuff. It's time that we support people the way the left supported Carmelo Anthony and some of these other lunatics who don't deserve that kind of cash. If we can get Kyungmin, let's look at his Give, Send, Go here real quick. If we can get, okay, he's asking for $5,000. That is not a lot of money. If we can get him 3, 4, 5, 6 times that amount, if we can get him 6 times that amount, that's going to give him plenty of money for at least 6 months to a year worth of living expenses. That's going to help him bridge that gap. That's going to help him sell whatever he needs to sell. Maybe start building up his YouTube content, which he already has a decent baseline right here. If we look at that, I mean, 9,000 subs is not anything to scoff at. He's already got the goods. He's got the talent. He's done speeches at some major big events in Korea and other places. He's got the talent. He's got the ability. Let's blow this goal out of the water. Let's blow it out of the water. For his sake, but also for the right wing, to show that we aren't backing down and that we're not going to allow these institutions to continue to harass and harm us. So go support him. Sharing is like, even if you can't financially give anything, sharing is huge. People really underestimate how many eyes that even you, with only like 100 or 200 people that follow you, sharing that is half the battle. So go support our brother, and let's pray for him. Like, share, and subscribe, guys, as always. And you know what? Like, share, and subscribe his video. God bless. Have a nice day.